Okay, so hello, hello everyone. Good morning. My name is Avinav Mishra, and I am your quiz master for the day. And I welcome you all to Vivid Bharat, the Open India Quiz Prelims. It is an open quiz, and you can participate either solo or in a team of two. So the rules for the quiz are: the quiz is open for all. There are 20 questions in this quiz. Each question carries 1 point. There are no negative points. In case of multiple parts to the question, points will be divided equally. Questions 16 to 20 are star marked and they will be used to resolve the ties. Um, a camera icon on the top left indicates that an image follows the question slide. You have to type in your answers in the G form only. On the right for desktop users and bottom for mobile users. You have to submit the GForm within 90 seconds after the last question is closed. There will be no rerun of questions. In case you miss something, you can rewind the YouTube video. Any unfair means would lead to immediate disqualification. Okay, so let's start with the quiz. So the question number one is Sabhyata Dwar, the civilization gate, is a sandstone arch situated on the banks of river Ganges. The monument was opened 2018 to celebrate the ancient city of Patna or Patliputra, which was an important center of Indian civilization. The northern and southern faces of the gateway each bear two ancient inscriptions. Out of these four, three belong to Ashok, Gautam Buddha, and Mahavir. The fourth inscription belongs to foreign envoy who was all in praise for the city of Patliputra. Here is what it reads. पाटलिपुत्र का वैभव एवं ऐश्वर्य पर्शियन साम्राज्य के महान शहरों सूसा एवं एक बताना से कहीं बढ़कर है. The translation is the splendor and opulence of Patliputra exceeds that of great cities of Persian Empire, Susa and Ekbatana. Who is this foreign envoy? Guys, if the G form is closed on the site, you may reload the site. So moving on to the next question in 5 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. So X and Y are two animals is an Indian sport which can be said similar to one versus one kabaddi. In this sport, there are usually 9 trenches, and these trenches have to be passed by players without being touched by defending team players. So basically, there is a 1v1 kabaddi going on at each trench. This sport XY came into international light when first South Asian Championship of this sport happened in Bhutan in 2013. This championship was also won by India. The word X in XY is also used for paternal aunt in the language which is native to the state from where it is believed that XY came. Give XY are the two-word perfectly rhyming name of this sport. Moving on to the next question in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. According to the Purans, he was born in the most fearless Andhaka clan of mighty Yadavs and son of Ridhika. Unlike the more hot-headed independent thinking Satyaki, X is more subdued and traditional. When Satyaki breaks bonds with the Narayani army, holding his ties to his teacher Arjun and his relative Krishna, X fights for the Kauravas since Krishna had promised Duryodhan that his Narayani army will fight for the Kauravas. Throughout the war, X takes part in many acts. He engages in killing of Abhimanyu, which was his own student. He checks Bhim's advance on 14th day and defends Jayadratha against Arjun. He also does not protest when Ashwatthama proposes that they kill the Pandavas in their sleep. Far from being morally accepted of such acts, X is portrayed as a very dutiful soldier. What his senior of his commands, he will execute without failure. Identify X. Moving on to the next question in 5 seconds. Question number 4 is structures like this are very important part of the traditional society of this region. These were the most important and biggest building in the village. Young boys who had attained puberty would not be allowed to sleep in their parents' house but sleep in these buildings until they got married. Here they were taught military tactics, handicrafts, and life skills apart from values like respect, bravery, and hospitality. They were also told folk tales and learned the customs of the clan. It also served as a place where human and animal skulls were kept as relics and a meeting point for discussing important matters related to the village. In which city would you find these buildings? There is an image which follows this question. Moving on to the next question in 5 seconds. Okay, so you have to tell which comic character's profile is this. Moving to the next question in 5 seconds. Question number 6 is regarded as one of the most important South Indian kings. He helped expand the influence of his kingdom for the first time to North India and as well as to Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Thailand, and all the way south till Java. This helped establish his kingdom as the strongest maritime empire, which built on the works of his famous father, who reinstated that kingdom's power after a long hiatus. He is better known for his victory of kingdoms surrounding the river in North India, which earned him a title X named after that river. He further built a capital city under the name X and relocated his kingdom's capital from Thanjavur to this city, which are both home to one of the greatest architectural marvels of the South India. Identify X, which was the title which he earned. Moving on to the next question in 5 seconds. The question number 7 is the rulers of this dynasty initially followed a religion from the native land, but as their reign expanded, they later assimilated Hindu customs and traditions. Though their original religion and customs left an impression. Like the pyramids at the Egypt, they also celebrated the dead by burying them in hemispherical mounds. Although they used to be filled with riches, but since the medieval ages, people have robbed them before these were protected as heritage sites. Another influence can be seen by their association with the number 8 or the octagonal shape. Almost all their coins and temples built during the time are octagonal in the shape. Which dynasty are we talking about? The image is on the next slide. You have to tell which dynasty are we talking about. Moving on to the next question in 5 seconds. Okay, so this romantic masterpiece was originally titled after this train, which was which put the story right on track. However, in the film, the route followed by the train is different from what it actually follows. The train actually runs between Mumbai and Firozpur, but in the movie it takes western route via Kota, and the final destination is almost 400 kilometers away from Firozpur. Identify the movie. Moving on to the next question in 5 seconds. Question number 9 is in the months of April and May when the Maharashtra was under frequent lockdowns and curfews with high number of cases, a certain demography shifted themselves out of the state to continue with their livelihood, which was affected by lockdowns. In this situation, locations like Goa, Gujarat, Silvassa, and Hyderabad were the first choice of most of those shifting out of Maharashtra. While the first three might have gained priority for their proximity to their original location, Hyderabad was a choice for many, for it hosts an entity for the largest of its kind in the world, which would have been very ideal place to continue their professions. Which demography of the population are we talking about? Moving to the next question. Question number recently of carnival of X installed in a wildlife sanctuary, and X is also made the mascot of the sanctuary. The aim was to raise awareness about the alarming decrease in their numbers and to endorse the sanctuary. These creatures are mostly mangroves, equipped with the web feet and a thick layer of waterproof layer. They are great swimmers too. X is also homophonic to a type of T. Identify X, which is a proper noun. Moving on to the next question in 5 seconds. X, a famous personality from 15th century, being born in the family of Julaha, used to sell saris. Due to the Julaha's association with weaving, an award is named in honor of X by the Indian government. Identify this famous personality X. Moving to the next question in 5 seconds. The image shown in the next slide is from a school in Ladakh, which has become a tourist spot not only for its eco-friendly education system, but also because of something that happened here in September 2008, which made this place of the school shown in the photograph famous all over India or even the world an year later. The school painted this place after this phenomena and now and has now created a replica of this location at a corner of the school so as to not disturb the students by the constant influx of tourists. Why did it came into limelight? This is the image. Moving to the next question in 5 seconds. Question number 13 is Bhasha. Bhasha, the Sanskrit playwright, wrote around the same time as Bharata was writing Natya Shastra. Thus, in many of his playwrights, the rules of Natya Shastra aren't followed. He was perhaps the Sanskrit writer who added tragic elements to his works. One such work of his is Urubanga, the breaking of thighs, which is based on a part of a more longer famous work. Urubanga focuses on the time of and after the central character's last duel, which he lost ultimately leading to his death and defeat in the war. While the central character of Urubanga is portrayed as a villain and being on the wrong side in the original work, in Bhasha's work he is portrayed as the one with heroic courage who accepts his inevitable end. Who is this central character in Urubanga? Moving to the next question in 5 seconds. In the early months of COVID pandemic in India in 2020, a group of artisans from a specific area in Jharkhand modified their art form to prepare masks to fight the virus. They had started working on this art form quite early for the use in April for the traditional New Year celebrations, but since the pandemic was declared, their work would have been a waste if not for redesigning them to be used for coronavirus masks. Since the art form traditionally depicts the triumph of good over evil, it is quite apt that these marks came up as a weapon in the war against the virus. Which art form are we talking about? The image is shown in the next slide. Moving to the next question in 5 seconds. Not to be confused by the royal palace from which the design of this is inspired, where would you find this railway station? Moving to the next question. So from question 16 to 20, there are two parts of each question, A and B. So you have to fill the answers separately for each part in the Google form. These are star mark questions and will be used to resolve the ties in case there are any. So question number 16 is, this legislative assembly initially had 25 vacant seats with subsequent amendments which although increased the number of seats in the legislative assembly, the number of vacant seats dropped to 24 and has remained so since. These seats remained vacant, no elections are held to fill up these seats and neither are these seats taken into account for reckoning the total membership of the assembly. Even after a very important change that occurred around 2 years back, the number of these seats didn't change. Interestingly, the Lok Sabha has no seats from this region, from which these 24 assembly seats belong to. Which legislative assembly are we talking about, and why are the 24 seats always vacant? So the which are we talking about, and the part B is why are the 24 seats always vacant, and you have to fill the answers accordingly in the Google form. Moving to the next question in 5 seconds. So, question number 17 is: the life of this lady was, as highlighted by the newspaper headline of 1981, the fairy tale that turned nightmare. It was a review of a recently published autobiography. Only last year, she has divorced her husband New York, but while majoring in Asian studies. They fell in love and married a few years later. She was soon crowned as the queen. The kingdom was a small one, surrounded and threatened by countries on all sides. Yet her husband, as an able ruler, retained a measure of independence. Generally, Indian government used to address the kings of the states such as these as Maharaja, but on the king's special request he was addressed as X instead, which means righteous ruler, the traditional title by which the kings of this dynasty were addressed. When all was going well, the fairy tale converted into a nightmare. Both of them had an affair outside marriage while the state itself was under annexation threats from India. At last, the state was annexed into India and the king was put under house arrest. She, along with her children, returned to USA to avoid house arrest. She now lives as a lecturer and author. Which kingdom was she queen of, and what was the title given to the king? The image is shown on the next slide. For this question, you have to answer the kingdom as one part, which is 17A, and for the second part, you can answer either the title of the king or the name of the lady. We will consider both. There has been some error in the G form, and we are sorry for that, but we will consider both. For part A, 17A, which kingdom was she the queen of? And for 17B, what was the title given to the king or the name of the queen? Moving to the next question in 5 seconds. Question number 18. Commissioned in 1628, it took 7 years to complete and it is believed to have cost twice as much as the Taj Mahal. It served as a grandiose display of the extravagance of the Mughal treasury to the world. One of the more detailed assessments of it was made by Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, who was a personal guest of Elizabeth in 1665. A word praising the achievement of Shah was engraved on it. There were silver steps leading to a 6 feet by 4 platform. The platform was elevated above the water, high over 4 and arched golden columns which were dated 10 feet. It is now referred It is now used to refer to the monarchy of another country. Identify this Mughal construction and which country's monarchy is being referred to by this name. For this question, the part A is 18A, identify this Mughal construction, and the part B is which country's monarchy is being referred to by this name. Okay, from here, my fellow quizmaster Chania will take over.
Chana, and now I am taking over from here. So now we move on to pen. X is a famous, albeit controversial, Orthodox Indians that filled with empty promises of blessings. Controversial, but gained him a loyal following. Did a number of merchants and businessmen between 1960 to late 1980s was the subject of Felix documentary named Why. The documentary focuses on the exploits of X in a particular region of Oregon, yet incorporated as a city between 1981 to 19. I for 9A you have to answer X, and for 19B you have to answer Y. Basically, the name of the Indian Godam is being talked about, and why is the Netflix documentary. We will be moving on to the next question in 5 seconds. So this is the last question of this quiz. a household name after the serial aired on Doordarshan in the late 1980s. The character made a comeback twice in December 2020. In all three serials, the character has been played by the same actor. The original show is based on the character of a common man created by R.K. Lakshman, who deals with everyday struggles of middle class Indians. The character is played by Urubanga, a Tamil actor who has been known for his roles in Patna and Prelims. He doesn't solve hardcore crimes, electricity cuts, and
Okay, everyone, sorry for some voice issues. Question number 20 is a household name after the serial aired on Doordarshan in the late 1980s. The character made a comeback twice in the new millennium, once as a detective in the and again as a new generation show with new stories recently in December 2020. In all three serials, the character has been played by the same actor. The original show is based on the character of a common man created by R.K. Lakshman who deals with everyday problems issues of middle class Indians. The detective series had just taken the character and name of the lead, but nothing has to do with the original serial. It talks about what he does after retirement. He does not solve hardcore crimes, but simple issues like electricity cuts and water problems. In the currently running follow-up series, the focus of the show had shifted from him to his son and daughter-in-law and their kids. The show still focuses on the everyday struggles of the common man from the perspective of three generations. Name the character of the original show and the actor who played this role all three times. For part A, that is 20A, you have to name the character, and for part B, you have to name the actor. So this brings us to the end of the quiz, and you have to submit your answers in 90 seconds. So this brings us to the end of the quiz, and 20 seconds more. Submit your answers in 10 seconds. Okay, so submission time is over, and thank you for all your responses. We are closing the form now. Now, let us move to discuss the answers.
So for the first question, you have to tell who is this for an invite. You can type your guess in the box. Yeah, I can see the correct answer by Naman Jain. It's Megasthenes indeed. He is also famous for his book Indica, which he wrote on ancient India. Move to the next slide, please. So for this second question, you have to tell the name of the sport which is being talked about. The name of this sport is quite rhyming. That X and Y are rhyming words. Yeah, I can see the correct answer in the chat box. It's Sagar Agarwal, who wrote the right answer, and Naman Jain also wrote the right answer. It's Atya. You can guess from here, like we use the word X is for paternal aunt, which in Marathi we used to call the father sister is Atya. Next question, please. So here you have to identify the person who is being talked about. Yeah, I see the right answer. It's Krit Verma. Nice answers, everyone. So here you have to tell from which state you can see the buildings in the image. If you look closely at the pattern in the image, you could have guessed the state very easily. Yeah, it's Nagaland, and these structures are known as murangs. It is basically the bachelor's dormitory in murangs in Nagaland. So here is the profile of a comic character. You have to identify whose profile is this. No, it's not Shampoo. Uh, it's Kalia from Tintin Comics. So here you have to identify the name of the king, which also contains the title he earned. Hey, I see the correct answers in the chat box. It is indeed Gangaikonda Cholan. So here is given. Here we are talking about dynasty and given a structure. So you have to identify the dynasty. Please move to the image slide. Yeah, it's indeed a home. Great answers by Naman Jain and Pranavar. Anil Raghavan also answered. Sushil Kumar Mahapatra too. Yeah, this is the home dynasty of Assam. So here it is given a picture of its name. So you have to identify the movie which is thought to be named after this train. Yeah, I see the right answer by Naman, right? It's Jab We Met. Naman Jain also answered. Rita Brata also answered. Great cases, everyone. Ishan Vets also answered correctly. So basically, they did a poll on what name they should keep for the movie. So Punjab Mail was also the option of that poll. So here we are talking about a certain group or a certain demography of population. So you have to tell about whom we are talking. If you look closely at the question, you could have guessed it. Like we have mentioned Maharashtra, and we then say Hyderabad. Maharashtra and Hyderabad, how the connected. Yeah, film industry, but it's something more specific than film industry. Yeah, the and creations answered it correctly. It's Indian TV industry, so they move TV showcast and crew. So here culture have to identify culture is this. So we have proper noun. Yeah, the fishing cat is part of the answer, but we asked for a proper noun. Arun TP got it correctly. It's matcha, although we consider the spelling. The spelling is MEACH, means bro, and you can guess the fishing cat from the picture. So the answer we are looking for is matcha, the fishing cat. If you answer matcha, then we are good to go. So here you have to identify the person. Yeah, so the correct answer in the chat box by Naman Rai, Ashwin Raj, and Creations, Rita Bratan, Naman Jan, they all answer correctly. Rajan also answered correctly. It's Sushil Kumar Bhava. They all are answering correctly. It's Sant Kabir, and the award named in honor of him was for weaving. You can easily guess it by the fact we mentioned the word Julaha. So here shown the image of a school. So you have to tell why it came into the limelight. Please move on to the image. Please move on to the image. Yeah, I saw the correct answer in the chat box. Ashwin Raj, Naman Jan, Dhwani Agarwal, Digantu Sarkar. It is Idiots movie. It is shown in the Three Idiots movie. You can. I guess this was an easy question. Yeah, Cherry will be giving marks for the Kabilas. Sorry, no marks for the Kabilas. It would refer to. So in the next question, you have to tell the central character of Urubanga. I see the chat is flooded with correct answers. It's indeed Duryodhan. So in this question, you have to answer which art form we are talking about. Yeah, I saw the correct answer in the chat box by Rita Bratard. It's Joe Masks. Namanjan also answered correctly. If you have any doubts about any question, you could ask the doubts in our Discord server. We would clarify it there. Yeah, so the answer for this question is Chaumas. So for this question, you have to identify the place where you find this railway station. No, it's not Mysore. Yeah, I saw the correct answer by Rita Betta. Namanjan, it's Agartala. Great answers. After this, my fellow quiz master Abhinav will be taking over. Thank you. Hope you enjoy the quiz.
Okay, so from here the star mark question starts, which will be used to resolve the ties. So in this question, you have to answer means which legislative assembly are we talking about, and why are these 24 seats always vacant? Yep, Jammu and Kashmir is right, and yeah, so 24 seats belong to POK. In question 17, which is also a start mark, which kingdom was the she queen of, and what was the title given to the king? Or we have provided an alternative to the second part. You have to write the name of the queen. Yep, Sikkim Chogyal is right. Hope Cook was also right. In question number 18, you have to identify the Mughal construction and which country's monarchy is being referred to by this name. Yep, I can see the correct answer. Peacock Throne, Iran are the correct answers to this question. The second last question was you had to identify the godman, the X, who was a famous and bit controversial Indian godman, and why the Netflix documentary. Yep, the answer is correct. X is Osho and Y is Wild White Country. In the last question was you had to name the character of the original show and the actor who had played this role all three times. Yep. So the correct answer is Srinivas Wagle, and he was played by Anjan Srivastav in Wagle की दुनिया, Detective Wagle, and Wagle की दुनिया नई पीढ़ी की नए किस्से. So this brings to our end of the discussion of the answers, and we would like to thank you for participating in this quiz. The set will be uploaded soon on our SlideShare account soon, which the link of which is available in the Discord server. You can also follow us on our social media handles. You can join our Discord server. You can check our website and also our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram. So these are some other quizzes of the Quiz Fest, upcoming quizzes. So there is coincidence, I think not today 3 p.m. Vivid Bharat finals of this quiz, the finalist of which will be announced by 4 p.m. today, will be held at 6 p.m. Not so lame quiz, a Mela quiz which is open for all, will be on 17 July, 11 a.m. And Once Upon a Time quiz on Tales and Stories at 17 July, 3 p.m. Trials by Trivia, Open General Quiz, 18 July, 11 a.m. And Elementary My Dear Quizzes, under 25 quiz on chemical elements on 18 July, 3 p.m. Thank you for your participation. Hope you enjoyed the quiz. If in case of any queries or feedbacks, you may check our Discord server, and also you can visit our website for results. Thank you.